Hey Exoticals! Today's video, I want to be talking about being pretty with social anxiety. Having social anxiety causes you not to socialize as much with others. Social anxiety is basically the fear of people looking at you and judging you. With an anxious mindset, I always thought people were judging me because they were staring at me all the time. It used to make me uncomfortable. I didn't put it together until years later, though, that a lot of stares were because I was attractive. I just never thought I was as pretty for a very long time. I had a tendency to dim down my looks, actually, because growing up I felt guilty for people always giving me compliments, but not my sister. And we have a very similar phenotype and look. The difference between me and her was that I noticed my features were more keen than hers. That was the only difference that I noticed out of it. But it used to bother me all the time. Having social anxiety, people often would label me bougie for no reason. I still dress nice. I dressed up even in high school, though. I used to rock a nice pencil skirt or a nice not button up, but a nice collared blouse or something, right? Just to school on. I would pick like a Friday. Every Friday I would dress up. It was just a thing that I did. Other people would wear regular jeans or whatever. But every now and then I wanted to wear a nice pencil skirt or something. I just wanted to look cute. So, but I also grew up in the church. So maybe that has something to do with it too. I don't know. But I just formal casual, if that's a thing. And because of this, I was actually told by one of my coworkers, who is now a good friend of mine though, that when he first saw me, when I first started working there, that he told me that he was basically like, oh no, we got another stuck up one in here. I was just like, this is how I'm being perceived? I'm literally nice and quiet and don't really get into no drama with anybody. And yet I'm still being negatively misjudged. Sometimes at work, though, I don't feel like speaking. I just don't. Sometimes I just want to stay in my own little zone. And because of that, when I was working at this one job, Amazon, this one lady would always hit me with backhanded compliments, like all the time. I was the new girl on the job. I hadn't really officially been acquainted with anyone yet. But I remember this lady. We'll call her Rachel, sure. But I remember this Rachel, whenever I would sit in the break room next to her and her group of friends, she would make side remarks to her friends. I remember one particular day, she had just got home from a vacation or whatever, and I overheard them speaking in the group, how she had fun and everything. She would talk about her trip and how she was doing this or that, right? There's no way for this conversation to have brought this up, but for some reason, she felt the need to say. Because when she had went to, for context, she had went back home to her hometown. And so when she came back here to LA, she basically was just like, I was so glad to be back home where I'm not around all of these bougie people all the time. And she emphasized on the word bougie. And I'm just like, mind you, I always felt this lady was throwing shots at me anyway. But this one was just too obvious. And then she made a remark about how she can't stand bougie people and all. I'm just like, I'm overhearing this conversation. I'm like, weren't you just talking about how fun your trip was? Where did this whole bougie thing come from? But I I quietly got up and just walked away. I didn't want to hear nothing else because I already felt the energy, you know. But the same lady one day came up to me and asked me if I was pregnant in front of everyone. And I was just like, because I had, mind you, I had somewhat of a tummy that I needed to work on. I'm not even gonna lie. But she just felt the need to, I guess, humble me in a sense. For some reason, she felt like I needed to be humbled. I was receiving a lot of male attention at this place, at this job, that was clearly obvious to everyone working there. The male managers were the worst when it came to this. I just felt like I was getting way more attention than most people in there. That's probably been there a while. I knew that made this one particular lady feel some type of way, just based off of her energy. I could tell when somebody's energy is genuine with me or not. There's another female though that I want to talk about. For context, Rachel, the first lady, I want to give her she probably was 70 years old. The thing is, she's a pretty in between as well. She's just older. Like, I look at her, I see similar features in me, similar skin tone and everything. It's just she's slightly older. She's older. She's 70 years old. Something like that. And then for this other female that I'm going to discuss, she's caramel skin, but she's heavy set. And, you know, she doesn't really take care of her appearance as much, I could tell. So, I knew both of these females did not like me at this job. I had this one particular guy friend that every time he would see me, he would shout my name very loudly in the building. But everybody else could hear him as well. But he would do this all the time. Every single time he see me, if he saw me within 2 hour span, he would just shout my name out. Like, he was just so happy to see me. You know, he's one of my coolest friends. And I noticed that whenever he would do this, the heavier set lady, we'll name her Destiny, I guess. But yeah, Destiny. I noticed every time my friend would shout my name out, she would make some type of remark like she was getting sick of him doing it. I'm just like, why do you even care? Yeah, she also felt some type of way about me because of this other guy that was working there. He was a very attractive man. He was an exotical. I think he was actually biracial. He looks like he could be biracial. He's definitely in between. Just a slight shade lighter than me. But I noticed he started to like me because he will always try to meet up with me after work and hang out and talk and just get to know me and ask personal questions outside of work-related stuff. And it kind of gave the hint that he was trying to get to know me. So we started talking more and more, lingering around, talking more and more. And I found out later that Destiny actually had a crush on him. And I noticed that whenever she would be around him or near him, and I was around, she would do something very obnoxious to get his attention. With no success, because I remember one time just kind of overlooking. She was doing something. Like, she was doing some type of obnoxious dance, type, like, joking with him. And he was just kind of like, what are you doing? But I noticed, like, minutes later, within the same area, he would come up to me, and me and him were kikiing and joking around. And I noticed that made her feel some type of way. I couldn't even help but feel that energy right there. It was just obvious, and ever since then, it was just never the same between me and her. So she would speak. I noticed that throughout the days, you know how when you pass somebody, you speak and you at least say hello. I at least said hello to people, like, every time I would walk past and I knew them. I was acquainted with them. But she would never speak to me. It's almost like she would purposely not look in my direction. So she was so obvious about her envy towards me that it's just so, it was so loud. It was so loud. I just ignored it, kept my head high, just kept it moving. Me and her actually got hired on the same day. We were in the same hiring group. There was at least 10 of us. You would think me and her would have become friends because me and her were both, I think, the only 2 black girls in the group. But she became friends with everybody else except me. Except me. I'm not mean or anything. I'm just nice. I'm just here. But except me. But yeah, anyway. So at the same job, right? I was only there for maybe a week. Not even, almost. And almost everyone in the building knew my name. When I say I don't speak, I only speak when I'm spoken to. But I'm very friendly when I do speak, so I'm not like mean or rude or anything. I'm very friendly when I speak. I just tend to myself a lot. But I noticed everybody in the building knew my name. And I'm just like, how does this person know my name? I never even met you before, but you know, while we're working, somebody will be like, such and such, or blah, blah, blah. I'm like, how do you know my name? In my head, I'm like, I don't even know your name. So it's just, it happened so much throughout the whole, like when I was first starting working there, the first couple weeks, I swear I only told one person my name, and I think it was a manager. But somehow the whole floor knew my name. I worked in a warehouse, so it's like at least 300 people. Not that much, maybe 100 or something of us. It's about a few of us, but it's just like, how do y'all know my name? I ain't told nobody for real. So it's just like the attention that I get at this job is overwhelming. I'll just be honest and say this. If you guys follow Exoticals United, I was the story time that she did the video on being pretty at the workplace. That was my story time. So I was always considered the quote-unquote pretty girl at almost every job that I've worked at, every school that I've been to, every church, based off of people's validating my looks and constant compliments. I have a way of drawing people to me without even speaking first. Like, I noticed that too. Like, people feel the need to speak all the time, and it's fine, but it's just like, sometimes I feel like I be giving I want to be by myself type of vibes. But people still go out their way to do things for me. At this job, people go out their way to help me when they don't have to help me. But there'll be situations that I really feel like I don't need help in, like lifting something. And people always will go out their way to try and help me. I appreciate the help, but I don't really need the help. I'm an army girl, so I'm very much independent, but if I see a man wanting to help me, I'm not going to not let him help me. I'll let him help me, but for the most part, I don't really need help like that or be wanting help like that, but I will appreciate it. But I noticed that I will get a lot of unnecessary help. And some people just wanted to be associated with me in some way, form, or fashion. I just noticed people would try and find any and all kind of reasons to speak to me. A lot of the time, what they would say wouldn't even make any sense at all. It just gave the vibes that they just wanted something to say to me. Because even after we're done speaking, they kind of would linger around a little bit around me. And kind of I could tell their head looking for something to say. I was like, okay, well, you have a good day now. It's just kind of like, I don't know how to explain it. I don't know if any of y'all go through this. But yeah, so I also remember when I worked at like Walmart, McDonald's, or like customer service related jobs. Customers would be the ones giving me the compliments, like, oh, you're so pretty, you look like Olivia Pope, oh, this, that, and the third. I would get so many compliments. I would get tipped at the cash register. But yeah, people would tip me. I'm like, this is not the type of job where you tip people. But yeah, I would get compliments almost every single day at these particular jobs. And at warehouse jobs, it would be more this, the male co-workers. So yeah, but I did start to feel somewhat guilty for getting a lot of compliments, especially if other girls around me weren't. I'm very humble, and I want others to feel good too, so I didn't like when I would receive compliments in front of another woman who didn't get one. A lot of the attention that I received were mainly from white men. At Walmart, McDonald's too. It was a lot of white men, older white men, fetishized me the most though. Always try to get my number. I had this one guy willing to fly me out to his home in Colorado for a weekend. I'm just like, I never thought I was attractive though, as people made me out to be. I eventually developed body dysmorphia as a result of me suppressing my looks for so long, as well as the gaslighting that I received growing up from many people. A combination of both of these things caused me not to see myself or like the way that I look. So when it comes to me suppressing the way that I look, way I would do that was not wear makeup, probably put my hair in like a hat or something, or bag your clothes. That's what I would do a lot growing up sometimes, because I didn't want to, because somewhere I do know that I am very attractive. It's just been so suppressed for so long, and I've been dimming it down for so long that sometimes I just don't see what other people see unless I'm real dolled up. So I know when I'm dolled up, I'm attractive. I know this, but it's like it gets to be overwhelming, especially when people are giving me attention that they aren't giving. I don't know, I just get weird about that. I get so weird about it, so sometimes I do suppress the way that I look. And I learned that caused me to develop body dysmorphia. Body dysmorphia is a mental health condition in which you can't stop thinking about your appearance. One or more defects or flaws in your appearance, to be exact. A flaw that may be so minor to somebody else is magnified with me to the point that I didn't want to go out if I didn't look perfect before I left the house. It can literally paralyze you from living the life you want to live, because you're constantly thinking about how unattractive you are with slight flaws.
It's really hard to watch Kaylee struggle with body dysmorphia every day. It's just getting worse and worse. Kaylee's body dysmorphia started in her senior year. It looked like somebody just flipped a switch on her and she became a completely different person. Kaylee would go to school and she always felt people were looking at her and talking about her because she felt that she was deformed. Kaylee would wake me up at 3 a.m. in the morning just to talk to me about her body parts. She would talk for hours about how her body was deformed.
Kaylee is deeply immersed in her body dysmorphia, and it's undermining our relationship.
There's this girl that's right in front of us with really short shorts. I'm not very happy about it.
Imagine hating your face so much that you never leave the house.
It's real.
She says she's ugly, she looks like a monster. That's why she didn't leave her house for over 2 years.
It's troubling.
Is it hard for you to be here today? Tell me what you're feeling.
It's body dysmorphia.
I look in the mirror, I see someone who is overweight. My nose is hideous.
What happens to these young girls that makes them feel like monsters?
I feel like I made her sweat. I think, well, maybe if I had not told, then it wouldn't have happened.
Like, people probably wouldn't even notice it, but I notice it, and it makes me feel unattractive. Body dysmorphia is a side effect of anxiety. So I think because I suppressed a lot of my looks, it just developed into that. Because when you suppress a part of yourself, you disown a part of yourself, it gets projected out into other things. So I noticed that for me, growing up, if I had a boyfriend and he would talk about how attractive other girls were, it would trigger me. If I saw another attractive person on social media, it would trigger me. And I learned, through my healing process, that when we suppress a part of ourselves like that, it has to manifest somewhere else. So I'll get triggered off of attractive people in general, because I knew deep down I am, but I'm suppressing it.
All of us have aspects, both positive and negative, that we have rejected in this way and that lie in exile deep within us, begging to be expressed. Since energy can't be created or destroyed, it has to go somewhere. The energy these aspects create by crying out for attention must be offloaded somewhere. And so the ego uses that energy to project those aspects that we hate onto others in order to keep us unaware of their presence within ourselves. Pretty genius, eh? When we make any aspect of ourselves not okay, the ego perceives this as a threat to our survival. And because the ego is literally the survival mechanism of our brain, it buries this undesired aspect deep within our subconscious mind, where it believes that we won't find it.
I'm gonna do a whole video about breaking down projection and how when we suppress a part of ourselves, it gets projected out into something else, and so we acknowledge it. But we'll talk about that in another video. I'll probably do that video next. I want to really break that down because it helped me heal a lot. I'm currently in therapy now, in a healing journey. It is working. That's why I really want to go over this part of it, because it really helped me. My confidence is at a new time high. A new time high. I embrace my beauty now. I wear beauty enhancements, light color contacts. I wear brown color contacts because it matches my skin complexion. I wear highlights, light brown highlights in my hair. I wear extensions, not weave, but clip-ins, so it blends in with my real hair. Anything, so I have a very clean, natural look to me. I am not as overwhelmed when people stare at me anymore. I'm learning to appreciate the beauty that God has given me. People that appreciate my beauty, I'll take it. For the ones who don't, for the ones who treat me like I'm an enemy to them just for existing, I use it as exotical tax now. So I'm just learning how to channel the way that I feel more positively, because when you feel good about yourself, you feel good in general. You just see life different. So I'm so glad I recovered from. I feel like I have recovered from body dysmorphia and social anxiety somewhat. I'm still working on. But the body dysmorphia, it paralyzed me for years. So I really want to break that down in the upcoming videos. So what do you ladies think? Do you guys deal with social anxiety while simultaneously being attractive, and you're just not understanding why people are looking at you all the time? Somehow though. Somewhere inside you do know you are attractive, you just suppressed it, or you're dimming it down for other people. I want to create this space for us to just express those feelings, to talk about it, to heal. That's what I want this channel to be, a healing channel as well. I want us to heal. So what are you guys' thoughts? Let me know in the comment section. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.